Okay, so today we're diving into
Unity.
unity. Yeah, you sent me this concept of 7 candles of unity.
Yes.
Now,
It's a fascinating.
it is, and when I hear that, I immediately think of like a
All right.
birthday cake.
You got it. We're not literal candles?
No.
Okay, so
Or it's like a framework.
exactly.
Okay.
Like a framework for building
That's
a more unified world.
Got it.
So these 7 candles,
Yeah.
they're a metaphor,
Okay.
and they're drawn from the Baha'i faith.
But high faith.
But what's really cool is
Yeah.
that they offer insights
Okay.
that go way beyond any one religion.
I like that.
They speak to this universal human desire
Okay.
for connection and harmony.
So we're all kind of searching for that.
Exactly.
All right, let's
light these candles.
let's light these metaphorical candles.
Metaphorical candles.
Yes, and see what they can teach us.
Exactly.
So first up,
The unity of religion.
the unity of religion. Okay, this is a
It's a bold one
bold one to start with.
to start with, for sure.
Right.
I mean, religion has a
Right.
pretty complex,
It does
Oh, yeah.
track record. Complex track record for sure.
full of conflict as much as unity.
Absolutely.
So how do we square that?
Well, the core principle here
yeah.
is that all religions
Mhm.
spring from a single
Okay.
divine source.
So a single form.
Single source.
Okay.
Think of it like the sun,
Okay.
one sun,
Mm-hmm.
but its light can be reflected
Yeah.
in countless ways.
Okay.
Right. So different religions
Yeah.
with their various prophet
Okay.
and practices
Yeah.
are like those reflections.
Okay.
You know, you think about
Yeah.
Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Baha'u'llah.
Right.
They each brought teachings
Okay.
that were tailored to their times,
Mm.
but ultimately they're all reflecting.
The same essential truths.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like a unified source.
A unified source.
With diverse expressions.
Diverse expressions, exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
But how do we...
It's a beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful, but how do we bring that in to the real world?
Yeah.
Where we have things like
Exactly.
religious dogmatism, where
Yeah.
people really cling to their beliefs as the only truth.
Yeah.
How do we bridge that gap?
It's a tough one.
Yeah,
No doubt.
it is a tough one.
The key, I think,
Yeah,
is finding that sweet spot
okay.
between respecting
Yep.
individual beliefs and identifying
Yeah.
those universal ethical principles
Ethical principles.
that transcend
Yeah,
any one dogma.
okay.
Because if we overemphasize differences,
Yeah.
we risk
Fragmentation.
fragmentation. Exactly.
Okay,
But if we gloss over them
right.
in the name of unity,
Yeah,
we risk diluting
okay.
the richness and depth
Mm,
of each tradition.
yeah, that makes sense.
It's a balancing act.
It is a balancing act.
Yeah.
So finding the heart of each tradition without erasing its unique character.
Exactly.
Okay. So speaking of valuing the individual,
Right.
that leads us perfectly into
It does.
candle number 2,
Yeah.
which is
The unity of humankind.
the unity of humankind. And I love the analogy of humanity as a garden with all these diverse flowers,
First flower.
each one adding its own beauty
Yes.
to
Beautiful.
the whole.
I love that analogy.
It's a good one, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
But does simply appreciating diversity
Well,
go far enough?
the Baha'i teachings
Yeah.
take it a step further
Okay.
than just tolerance.
Okay.
It's about a genuine celebration
Okay.
of diversity.
So not just
Not just accepting,
accepting,
but actively
actively appreciating.
appreciating.
Okay.
We each contribute something unique and valuable
Okay.
to the human tapestry.
So how does that play out in the real world?
In the real world.
When we see movements like
Right.
Black Lives Matter
Yes.
or the push for
Mm-hmm.
gender equality.
Gender equality.
Are those examples?
Well, those movements
Yeah.
are absolutely rooted
Okay.
in the principle of the unity of humankind.
Okay.
They challenge us
Okay.
to dismantle systems of
Yeah.
oppression
Okay.
and create a world where
Yeah.
everyone, regardless of
Well,
race, gender, or background,
Background.
has the opportunity to thrive.
Okay.
But you're right.
Yeah.
Sometimes these movements
Yeah.
can spark intense debate,
Yeah.
even conflict.
Right. And so
And that's where dialogue
Yeah.
becomes crucial.
Okay.
You need to engage
Yeah.
in those difficult conversations.
Right.
Listen to each other's experiences
Mm-hmm.
and work towards solutions
Solutions.
that uphold the dignity
Okay.
of every human being.
So it's not just about
Not just about
celebrating diversity,
Yeah.
In the abstract.
In the abstract.
It's about action.
Taking action.
Yeah, taking action.
To dismantle the systems.
Dismantling those systems.
That prevent that. True equality.
Exactly. Okay. So let's zoom out a bit now.
Okay, let's zoom out.
To candle number 3.
All right.
Which is?
The unity of nations.
The unity of nations.
Wow.
Now, in our globalized world,
right.
This one feels
especially relevant.
Incredibly relevant.
And incredibly complex.
Yeah, super complex.
It really is.
Yeah.
Abdu'l-Bahá.
Abdu'l-Bahá?
Envision nations.
Okay.
Functioning like organs.
Okay.
In a body.
Interesting.
Each essential.
The total nation
is
an organ.
An organ, yeah.
Essential for global health.
Exactly.
Okay.
So national boundaries shouldn't divide us.
Okay.
But should inspire collaboration. Toward shared goals.
Shared goals. Things like peace, economic stability, environmental sustainability.
You
could even see the United Nations as a very early, imperfect attempt.
Imperfect, you said.
Imperfect.
Okay, so let's be real.
Right.
We have things like nationalism.
Power struggles,
yep.
Economic competition.
These
are huge. Forces that are constantly apart.
Pulling us apart.
Now, how do we even begin to overcome that?
You're hitting on the tension
at
the heart of it all.
Okay.
Cooperation alone
isn't enough. Okay.
True unity requires a level of collective accountability. Collective accountability.
That's tough to achieve.
Yeah.
We need to hold each other responsible.
Okay.
For upholding principles of justice and fairness.
On a global scale.
That's
where things get really challenging.
That is where things get really challenging. Yeah. This idea of unity through shared responsibility.
Yes.
Makes me think about
the
fourth candle.
Okay.
Which is
unity of language.
This one might seem
a little far-fetched.
But the idea of a universal language,
it's undeniably fascinating.
It's fascinating.
It is.
Could it really break down barriers?
Could it?
And accelerate progress? Yeah. Or is that just wishful thinking?
Well,
is it just a fantasy?
Abdu'l-Bahá believed it was possible.
Okay.
He saw language barriers as a huge obstacle.
To
understand. His vision wasn't about wiping out diverse native tongues, but adopting a shared auxiliary language. To facilitate communication across cultures.
I mean, imagine the possibilities if we could all understand each other.
Right.
But I mean, we already have languages like English and Mandarin
gaining global dominance.
Yeah.
So wouldn't a truly neutral language be more effective? And how would we even choose one?
Right.
Has anyone ever tried to create a universal language?
It's not. It's not as out there as you might think.
Okay.
There's a whole history of constructed languages. Like Esperanto.
Designed for just that purpose.
Wow.
And the idea of how language shapes thought.
Yeah.
The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis.
What's the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis?
Is a whole fascinating field of study.
Yeah.
Some research even suggests that speaking multiple languages can have cognitive benefits.
Interesting.
But you raise a good point.
Yeah.
Picking one language
is tough.
Is politically charged.
Yeah.
Even if it's a constructed one.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe a universal language isn't realistic.
Maybe not right now, but
it raises some interesting questions.
It does.
About how we communicate and solve problems together.
Yeah.
And that brings us to
handle
number 5. And honestly, the name alone has me intrigued.
Okay.
Unity of thought. In world undertakings. Okay, break that down for me.
Right.
Are we talking about some kind of
definitely not
global mind meld?
Telepathy.
Okay.
So no telepathy.
Not telepathy.
Okay.
It's more about recognizing that the complex problems facing humanity.
So problems like
poverty.
Environmental degradation.
Conflict require us to think and act.
Think and act.
Selectively. It's about harnessing the power of diverse perspectives.
Diverse perspectives.
To find creative solutions. That benefit everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we see attempts at this.
We do.
With international agreements.
Yeah. Like
the Paris Climate Accord. Are these steps in the right direction?
They're definitely steps in the right direction.
Or are they ultimately just symbolic gestures?
Agreements, like the Paris Accord, while imperfect, demonstrate the potential
of global collaboration.
Okay.
They bring nations together to tackle challenges that transcend national boundaries.
Right.
But as we've seen, national interests and lack of trust can undermine those efforts.
Okay.
It's a constant
balancing act
between
individual needs
and
the collective good.
It seems like that tension between
the individual
runs through
all of these candles.
Okay. And speaking of tension, there's that age-old conflict between science and religion.
But wait, candle 6 is about the unity of science
and religion. This feels like a plot twist.
Well,
it's not a plot twist. It's more like a reframing.
Okay.
Abdu'l-Bahá saw science and religion not as opposing forces.
Okay.
But as complementary.
So it's less about
choosing sides.
And more about
finding
that
balance.
Yeah. That idea really resonates with me.
Yeah.
I've always felt like my scientific curiosity and
your beliefs,
spiritual beliefs were kind of at odds. But hearing this, it's like breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that both science and religion offer crucial pieces of the puzzle.
So crucial pieces
of
the puzzle.
Yeah. Think about the ethical dilemmas we're facing now.
With things like
artificial intelligence. And genetic engineering. We need both. Scientific understanding. And moral guidance. To ensure we're using these powerful tools for good.
It's like science gives us the how. And religion helps us answer
the why. Exactly.
Okay, now I'm seeing how these candles are all starting to connect.
They're all connected.
Like how they build upon each other.
They do.
This idea of science and religion complementing each other. Working in harmony.
Yeah.
It feels like a bridge.
It does.
To that final candle.
Right. Yeah.
The unity of the world of humanity.
I mean, God.
With God.
This one feels...
It's different.
Different somehow.
It is.
Yeah.
This candle speaks to that deeper spiritual connection.
Okay.
That sense of oneness. With something larger than ourselves.
And it's often seen as...
It is often seen as the most abstract, the most difficult to grasp.
I mean, maybe
the most personal.
Yeah. You know, we've been talking about.
We have been talking.
Big concepts.
Yeah, like unity of religion.
Unity of religion.
Of nations.
Of thought.
Unity of thought.
But this one feels like it goes straight.
It goes straight to the core of
individual experience.
Yeah,
you're right.
So
it's deeply personal.
Yeah.
And it's also the foundation upon which all the other unities rest.
Because
without that connection to something greater than ourselves.
Without that spiritual grounding. It's easy to lose sight of our shared humanity. We get caught up. In the divisions. Anxieties.
The relentless pursuit of...
Wall stuff.
Of stuff, yeah. I can definitely relate to that.
Right.
But how do we cultivate...
that connection.
In a world
that's...
It's constantly pulling us. In a million different directions.
How do we begin?
How do we tap into that divine spark? Within it feels almost impossible sometimes. There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Okay.
It's a journey. Not a destination. But there are paths.
Like meditation.
Okay.
Prayer.
Acts of service.
Like acts of service.
Spending time in nature. Spending time in nature.
Creative expression.
Creative expression.
It's about finding what resonates with you.
What resonates with you.
What helps you.
What helps you.
Quiet the noise.
Quiet the noise and connect with that deeper.
With that deeper reality.
Deeper reality. Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned acts of service. Mm-hmm. It just occurred to me that all of these candles in a way call us to service.
They do.
Service to humanity.
To humanity.
The planet.
To something bigger than ourselves.
To something bigger.
Yeah. It's not just about
passively believing.
In
these principles. It's about actively embodying them.
Letting them
guide our actions.
In the world.
And it doesn't have to be
these grand gestures.
It doesn't have to be grand gestures. Right.
It can be.
It can be something as simple as showing kindness. To a stranger. Speaking up.
Against injustice. Making sustainable choices. In our daily lives. Every single choice we make. Every action we take. Even the seemingly small ones. Can ripple outwards. They all contribute.
To
a more unified,
harmonious world.
Thinking about it, there's a quote that always sticks with me.
Okay.
Be the change. You wish to see.
Yes.
In the world.
It's easy to
get caught up.
in criticizing systems and institutions.
But
real change starts with each of us. Yeah.
That's so powerful.
It is.
And it ties back.
To
that idea.
Of
the unity of the world of humanity with God. When we connect. With that divine spark within. It empowers us. To act with greater love. Compassion.
And wisdom.
It helps us see the interconnectedness. Of everything. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've explored these 7 candles of unity.
Yeah.
Dug into their meaning. Connected them to real-world examples.
Yeah.
And even touched on that deeper, more personal, spiritual dimension.
The spiritual dimension. But
it all comes back to one question.
It does come back to one question.
What do these 7 candles mean?
Yeah, what do they mean?
For our listener.
For the listener.
What do they mean for their life?
For their life.
For everyday choices.
Choices they make every day.
It's almost like a challenge, right?
It's an invitation.
Okay.
More than a challenge, I think.
An invitation.
An invitation to become architects.
Of
unity. Starting right where we are.
Okay.
In our own spheres of influence.
Starting right where we are.
And that can look completely different for each person.
So give us some examples.
Okay, so
what are some
concrete ways? We can take these principles.
Live them. Principles and actually live them.
Yeah.
It might be having those tough conversations about race and prejudice with your family and friends.
Okay.
It might be volunteering your time to support organizations working to create a more just and equitable world.
Or it could even be.
It could be.
As simple as
being more mindful of the products you buy.
The products we buy.
The companies you support. The way you treat the environment.
How we treat the environment.
All of those things.
Every single choice.
Yeah.
We make, every action we take. Even the seemingly small ones.
Yeah.
They can ripple outwards.
They all contribute.
To
a more unified.
And
harmonious world.
Thinking
about it, there's a quote that always sticks with me.
Okay.
Be the change you wish to see in the world. Be the change. It's so easy to get caught up.
It's easy.
In criticizing systems and institutions. But real change.
Starts
with each of us.
Yeah. And that ties back. To that idea. Of the unity of the world of humanity with God. When we connect with that divine spark within
that divine spark.
It empowers us.
To
act. Compassion. And wisdom. It helps us to see. The interconnectedness of everything.
Yeah. So, As we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing?
Yeah, what's the one thing
you hope our listener takes away?
That our listener takes away
from this conversation?
I hope they leave feeling inspired. And empowered. To embody these principles.
In
their own lives.
In their own lives.
In whatever way.
Feels
authentic to them. Because every act of kindness. Every effort to bridge divides. Every choice we make. That aligns with these principles.
It
all adds up.
It
does.
Beautifully put.
Thank you.
We started this conversation.
By lighting these 7 candles of unity.
7 candles.
Now, as we bring it to a close. Let's imagine those candles continuing to burn brightly. Not just in our minds. But out there in the world. Lighting the way. Towards a brighter future.
For all.